Hey everyone, Davis Oliver here with the Taxes Save Team Case of the Week. This is an exciting one, not just on a short-term tax savings, what was accomplished with the strategy this client chose to implement, but as well as the big ROI here, which was the long-term savings from the Roth conversion they did for the investment they had that is now growing and now exiting 100% tax-free for them. So with that said, we'll go ahead and dive right in. As we always do, we got the return here on the left here in a second. And then on the right, we have the scenario of what's going on. So everyone can follow along with the return here. We'll keep it pretty straightforward. So with that said, we'll go ahead and dive right in. So you'll see here, this client, right? Let's break down their scenario here with what's going on the return. We have about $1.5 million of all earned income. The big one here of this 1.5, as you see on the tax return, is 1.3 million and change of overall Roth conversion income. Right. So this client out of state North Carolina, 68 years old, both husband and wife, coming upon their first RMDs, required minimum distributions at age 73. And so with that, right, they're facing on this 1.5 million a $540,000 tax burden without a strategy. So not only are they facing that, they're also facing the fact that they have an investment of what they converted in their IRA that's going to, in the next coming year, have an exit worth three times what it is today. So before the conversion, worth 1.3 and change. After, in the exit comes 4.1 million of value. So with that, right, what did they do to offset the tax they are facing? They loved the 181 strategy. They invested in a film called Cash Out 2, starring John Travolta. And with that, they outlaid $100,000 under Section 181 into a movie that generated a 4.3 times tax deduction. So 430 grand was generated of deduction, and you'll see that they use that on line 8 of the return. So 389, they got to use all 430, but 389, they had some other K1 income that was offset. And so with that, right, they used the whole deduction. And so before, right, the strategy, they're looking at an overall tax burden of, again, $540,000 on this tax bill here, right? And after the deduction, their new income's 1,078,000, and their tax burden's now only 361,000. So greatly reduced. And so with that, year one, just for their overall savings, just from the movie outlay of 100,000, they saved $178,000 they never would have had without investing in a film. So right there, 101,000 generated 178,000 of first year tax savings, 176% return on tax. So, but the big thing here is the timing. Timing is truly everything for what this client accomplished here, right? By not paying tax on 4.1 million of converting, but rather 1.3, that's where they accomplished the most amount of ROI they could, right? And so with that, right, they went from paying, basically they would have paid, 329,000 as they did on the tax conversion, but now they're paying nothing on the remaining 2.7 their IRA value has grown into. So without converting now, before the valuation went up, they saved themselves $1.1 million of RMD taxes they'll never have to pay, as well as the growth tax on converting at a higher valuation. So the big breakdown here, year one tax savings they achieved was $178,000 from outlaying 100,000 into a film to save 178,000 on what they converted in their overall income. Then, right, by converting at this rate versus the higher rate they saved another 161,000. And then lastly, the bigger ROI is the long-term tax savings. They Roth converted, right, at that lower valuation to now it's three times higher, and they avoided by converting at the lower valuation before the exit happened about almost $1 million, 982,000 of savings there, and then they protected themselves from 491,000 of no longer having RMD taxes on that tax deferred balance that was going up. So you can see here, in taxes saved, the numbers have to work, right? In the client's favor. It always comes down to numbers, and that's what makes it nice. But to see your own numbers and maybe how your own circumstances might be impacted here, please check us out at taxessave.com. We do a complimentary discovery meeting with clients to go over their own tax risk and review numbers like this with them, and then construct plans that come back with not just movie strategies, but many other legal, tangible strategies clients have implemented, we have implemented, and given great results, not just short term like we accomplished here, but the bigger term, which is the long-term impact we were able to achieve for this client by converting at lower valuations before it went up. So please reach us at taxessave.com. That is taxessave.com. Thank you.